everybody, Dark Zekrom here, and welcome to Season 3, Week 3 of the Pokemon Global League. I will be the only one announcing today's battle. My co-hosts shall be back next week. Today we have the Seattle Smeargles versus the Super Gash and the New York Shelmets. The New York Shelmets are, I believe, 0-2, and the Seattle Smeargles are 1-1. So, not to add another tick onto the loss of the Shelmets here, but we could very well use another win to make a 2-1 record so far and give us a good shot in the playoffs eventually to get into the championship battle. So, we have a very interesting battle tonight because it is a primetime game, which basically means it's the showcase battle of the week. So that is pretty cool if I do say so myself. And the team we will be using for this special battle is Skarmory, a very good fan favorite, Kyurem Black, another very good Pokemon that saved our butts last battle, Sylveon, who is a very nice wall who can put in some work. Alomomola, I believe, is new. I don't think we've seen Alomomola yet. Arcanine, I believe, was in the last battle, but wasn't able to do too much. And Jolteon came in clutch a couple times, if I'm not mistaken, in the last battle. So we've got a very familiar team here, with Alomomola, I believe, only being the new Pokemon on the team. Now, what the New York Shelmets can bring is some pretty scary power that we might need to watch out for. We have Mega Altaria, Mamoswine, Zapdos, Vaporeon, Fortress, Emboar, Drapion, Mega Aggron, Braviary, Behem, Gourgeist, and Talonflame. All of those Pokemon are potential teammates in this game here, so we're not exactly sure what they will bring. Hopefully nothing too scary and is easy for us to take out. Now, thinking based off of all of that, if they do happen to bring the Mega Aggron, it can be a very defensive mon. It looks like we're getting the team preview here. We are the team preview. We have Zapdos, Fortress, Mamoswine. It looks like the Mega Aggron, Vaporeon, and Talonflame. Now, looking at our team and looking at their team, that's some pretty scary defense and pretty scary offense. Mamoswine is not a thing to be taken lightly. Zapdos can do some major damage to our Alomomola. And the only thing that I can think can touch the Aggron effectively would be the Arcanine. Maybe Kyurem Black. I'm not exactly sure. But it would be the Arcanine I would think would be doing the most damage to said Aggron. Although when Mega Evolved, it gains a lot more defensive physically and specially, I believe. And it loses a typing, which does kind of it kind of weakens it, actually, due to the fact that Rock resists fire with just the Steel typing when it Mega Evolves. Arcanine will be super effective instead of normal damage again. So hopefully that plays into our favor and we can get rid of that Mega Aggron soon, if it is a Mega Aggron indeed. Now, looking at their team, I believe their lead is either going to be Mamoswine or Fortress, just to get those hazards up, because I know Mamoswine can carry a Stealth Rock set, but also so can Fortress. Fortress can do Spike, Stealth Rock, and Explode. So Fortress is not something to be taken lightly. If we were going to go into a lead based off of their team, I personally would go with Skarmory just to be safe, although that Talonflame can be pretty scary in case they do predict our Skarmory lead. We got about 15 seconds left in the team preview. We should be getting the game soon. If we do, like I said, we're getting into the leads now. If we do decide to go with Skarmory, I think we should get the hazards up right away, but let's see what's going to happen here. We are going up against the New York Shelmets. The New York Shelmets are going to be sending in a Pokemon after we do. We send in Jolteon, which is a little bit of a shocking pick for our lead. They're going to send in Nox, who is the Fortress. I predicted that correctly. This Fortress, I've used to play with a Fortress in competitive battling. They're not the most offensive things in the world, but their defenses are great. A great hazard Pokemon, great setup, can do a lot of iron defense. I've used a Baton Pass Fortress before. That was very interesting, being able to Baton Pass the iron defenses and stuff onto my Pokemon waiting in the back. They're all going to withdraw, though, and send in the Mamoswine, I'm believed, to take the Volt Switch, which is exactly what they did, predicting the Volt Switch, which is not very good for us, due to the fact that we have done no damage in this battle yet, and that was a wasted turn. So, thinking about what we could do next is either we could switch out, which I would do, into, I would say, Alomomola or Arcanine, just to play safe and maybe bait a switch out from Ice Babe over here, the Mamoswine. Although I'm not quite sure, maybe do another move. I don't know exactly if the Mamoswine is going to use Earthquake or if it has any type of ground-type offensive move here. They usually carry, I believe, Stealth Rocks, Ice Shard, and I'm not actually sure off the top of my head what other things are. I know I used to run Earthquake on my Mamoswine. Looks like we're going for the Shadow Ball, which doesn't do too much damage. They're going for the knocking off our Focus Sash. Okay. Leaves us with very low HP, which I'm not actually quite sure if Jolteon can get any of that back, because I don't know if Jolteon has any recovery moves, which it usually doesn't. So we're going to withdraw our Jolteon here, and we're going to be sending out Rosalina, who is the Alomomola. Interesting choice here. We're going to be taking this Ice Shard. As you know, water resists Ice-type moves, so that does very little damage. We're going to be healing with, I believe, Leftovers. Yes, Leftovers back to 270. Just 2 HP has been now taken out of our Alomomola here. Hopefully that doesn't do too much or cause too much difference. It shouldn't. That's not too big of damage. Now, what I would plan on doing is go for the Scald just to predict maybe staying in. And if they withdraw, so this, if we did go for the Scald, then this Sushi, which is the Vaporeon here, is going to take it very well, which we did. Goes for the Water Absorb. Since Sushi didn't have any HP taken away from him, I believe, yes, him. It didn't do anything, so that was another wasted turn. Actually, no, it wasn't. We got our health all the way back up, so now we are back to full health. So I'm not quite sure what we're going to do here. I personally would switch back into Jolteon, although that might be a little predictable, so maybe going to Sylveon, or staying with Alomomola and going for the Scald, maybe to see it a burn. Or no, they can't go for the Scald because it's just Water Absorb. That was dumb of me for saying. Maybe setting up something. Looks like Sushi's going to go for the Scald. Hopefully they don't get the burn. Not very effective, and they do get the burn. That is not good for us. We go for the Toxic, which I don't know why I didn't think about. I remember Alomomola uses Toxic. It's a very, very hacksy Pokemon, if I do say so myself. This Toxic is going to be kind of detrimental if the Vaporeon likes to stay in for long, and hopefully it will eventually kill it off without worrying. Luckily, I don't think Alomomola is very much of a physical attacker. It's just those burn damages are very crucial, and Leftovers won't be able to heal much back from that, if any at all. So hopefully the burn isn't too detrimental to us, and maybe we have a healing move for that or something. I know Heal Bell. I don't think any Pokemon have Heal Bell, or maybe even something Alomomola can learn. I'm not quite sure. Rosalina goes for Toxic again, maybe predicting a switch. It looks like Vaporeon has Heal Bell though, so that is going to heal the poisoning. Maybe our Sylveon has Heal Bell, so we can heal our burn, maybe. I'm not quite sure. I used to run a Vaporeon Heal Bell, I believe. I'm not quite sure. But I don't know what we're going to do here. This burn is very detrimental to our Alomomola. Toxic isn't going to do much of anything, especially with Heal Bell looming over our heads. It looks like their New York Shelmets are going to withdraw Vaporeon and send in Nox again. The Fortress. Rosalina is going to go for Wish to get some more health back next turn, and maybe we're going to go, I think they switched into the Fortress to predict the Toxic, so hopefully we go for Scald, although that also might be predicted, and then they would go into the Vaporeon again, and then just be another big loop around of what just happened, which hopefully does not happen. If I were to do something here, I personally would say let the Fortress set up, or let the Fortress do something, and I would switch into maybe the Arcanine, baiting a switch, possibly, or getting a Fire-type move off if the Fortress is feeling a little greedy. Although this is not looking very well for our team right now. We have a status inflicted Pokemon, 5 healthy. The other team has 6 healthy. No status inflictions anymore due to that Vaporeon's Heal Bell. We're just waiting here to see what's going to happen. Like I said, I personally would go into the Arcanine, maybe baiting a switch, maybe getting off a good Fire-type move, or we could go for the Scald, possibly burning the Fortress here, because this Fortress, I feel like, is going to either stay in to predict the Scald or the Toxic, or maybe even go for hazard setups, but we're going to switch out into DMX, who is our Arcanine. So I was correct in stating switch out to the Arcanine. We're going to get the attack drop on the Fortress, not that that matters too much. They're going to go for the Stealth Rock like I thought they would, setting up the hazards, which is not the best thing in the world because we have a couple Pokemon that are very weak to rocks, so that's not going to be fun for them when they switch in, a Arcanine being one of them. Hopefully we can get some good damage off, maybe with a Wild Charge predicting the switch into the Vaporeon, or maybe just go for the safe Fire-type move in case the Fortress wants to stay in here. I think I would go, if the Arcanine does in fact have Wild Charge, I think I'd go for the Wild Charge just to be safe, get some good damage off on whatever Pokemon decides to come in. They're going to withdraw Nox, and they're going to send in Sushi, which is a Vaporeon, predicting the Fire-type move. Hopefully we went for, oh, looks like we have Extreme Speed instead of Wild Charge. Doesn't do too much damage, in fact, did just about as much damage as a Shadow Ball did to Mamoswine earlier from our Jolteon. So that's not the best thing in the world for us currently. Hopefully we do have something to take this Vaporeon. We shouldn't stay in with Arcanine, though. I wouldn't, personally. Like, we're going to switch out here. I'm not sure what we're going to switch into, though. Maybe Jolteon? Wanda. Wanda is the Sylveon. We've got two evolutions duking it out on the field right now. Looks like Sushi went for the Protect just to get some, waste some turns, waste some time in the battle time. So I'm not quite sure what the strategy is going to be between these two, because they, I'm pretty sure, are mainly defensive mons here. Although Vaporeon does have Scald, Sylveon should have either Moonblast or some type of Fairy type move, I would assume. Maybe we're both going to go for Toxic and both Heal Bell, maybe? I'm not quite sure here. It's going to have to wait and find out. I really don't know what's going to happen. It's very nerve-wracking in this time waiting here. It looks like they're going to withdraw the Vaporeon, which is a bold move, and send in Tanklin, which is the Aggron, which we went for Heal Bell just in case they decide to go for the Poison, but we are also going to be healing our Alomomola in the process. So now Alomomola is all healed, and was that leftovers, in fact, so we are almost back to full health. Both teams are fully healthy. Hopefully this Aggron doesn't Mega Evolve here, and if it does, we switch into Arcanine and get a maybe a Flare Blitz or something off, or Flame Wheel. I would usually run Flare Blitz, but I don't know. Sometimes people just don't want recoil damage. I know I personally wouldn't in a tough situation like this. So the most we can do here is just wait. Aggron's taunting Sylveon by swinging its arms. Does the shake, roar. Sylveon is unaffected, not even a flinch. Aggron roars again. Wanda's going to switch out, and we are going to go into Rosalina, who is the Alomomola. Maybe, hopefully getting a Scald off, and hopefully getting a burn to cripple this Mega Aggron. Uh-oh. Mega Aggron is here. This defensive beast with just the Steel typing now is very scary. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do to this thing. It's going to Iron Head, which I believe we could take, because Water does resist Steel type moves. And maybe going for a flinch, or even attacking, probably going for that Sylveon, now that I think about it, to kill it and knock it out, because that is a very powerful hit from this Mega Aggron. If that Sylveon were to take it, that's super effective, and we don't need that. They're going to withdraw the Mega Aggron, send in Sushi, predicting the Scald, I assume. What else could we do? We go for the Toxic, predicting the switch into Sushi, although Sushi can also just Heal Bell away like our Sylveon can. Hopefully we can get some more damage off than just this little bit of toxic damage. Hopefully we can switch into safely switch into Arcanine or Jolteon and get some damage off of whatever Pokemon decides to switch in. We still haven't seen the Zapdos, which is a very scary Pokemon to have in the back. We have seen the Mega Aggron, we have seen the Vaporeon and the Fortress, and the Mamoswine. So we need Zapdos, and we haven't seen Talonflame yet either. Rosalina is going to be returning to its Pokeball, switching out for BNA, who is the Kyurem Black. I'm not quite sure what we were thinking, predicting the switch into Kyurem Black, but it's going to be taking some major damage from those Stealth Rocks. Sushi's going to go for Heal Bell, getting the free switch in. I'm not really surprised here. Does not want to deal with toxic damage. I wouldn't either. Use as many Heal Bells as possible before it's too late. Like I said, though, that did 50 damage to Kyurem Black here. BNA, those Stealth Rocks did, which is not very good in a time like this. So she's going to use Protect, predicting and scouting out whatever move we're going to use. It looks like we're going to use Iron Head just to get some damage off, I would assume. Maybe even go for the flinch. I personally would stay in with Kyurem Black right now and maybe go for Fusion Bolt or what else does Kyurem Black carry? I can't remember off the top of my head what Kyurem Black carries. Probably not Fusion Bolt now that I think about it. The Choice Scarf only allows for the use of Iron Head, which is not very good for us, so we either have to stick to Iron Head and hope that it does good enough damage or flinches Sushi, and if we're faster, or we have to switch out into Jolteon, which I think I'm okay with either play, honestly. What I would do in this situation is switch out into Jolteon, but it looks like we're going to switch out like I predicted, but into what? Into Wanda, the Sylveon. I am supposed to just do another stall tactic here, just to waste some PP. Sushi's going to use Wish. This is very, very similar sets here on the Sylveon and Vaporeon. I believe Scald possibly being the only different move, depending on what Pokemon we're using. They both have Wish, if I'm not mistaken. No, Amibo use Wish. I'm not sure about Wanda, but we both have Heal Bell, and we both have Toxic, I think. I could be lying about that. Yeah, I am. Amibo is the one with Toxic and Wish. So I'm not quite sure what Sylveon has. Sylveon definitely has the Heal Bell, though, which is very useful to our team in case this Vaporeon decides to Toxic or do something stupid or risky or burn us even. Not quite sure what we're going to do here. Any Pokemon switching is going to take some major rocks damage like KaoruKagomura did, which is not very good for us, like I've said multiple times here. Maybe they're going to switch into Zapdos finally. I don't know why they would. Maybe even Talonflame to take out the KaoruKagomura with the Ice type. I'm not quite sure what we're planning on doing here. It's a very tough situation. They're definitely playing us like a fiddle, which is not good. We need to be playing them like said fiddle. As of right now, we are tied, and it is, if I'm not mistaken, it is 16 minutes into the battle, and we are tied. No Pokemon have been knocked out yet, and Pokemon are almost all full health. Nox comes back in. We're going to use Wish, possibly switching into the KaoruKagomura, getting our health back from these rock damages. This Fortress is probably going to set up a nice layer of spikes or even explode, which is also very scary. If I were the Fortress, I would set up the spikes. If I were the Sylveon, I would stay in and maybe use something to take out the Fortress or do some damage to the Fortress, because maybe it has Gyro Ball even, so maybe I'd switch out with the Sylveon. Yeah, I think I'd switch out with the Sylveon and maybe go into the Skarmory to maybe get some of our... They're going to switch out with the Sylveon, maybe go into Skarmory to get some of our hazards up, but it looks like we're going to DMX, who is the Arcanine. Going to take some rocks damage, but that Wish should heal us on this next turn, get the attack fall. Going to use Toxic Spikes here, which is not very good. Right now, with only one layer, the Pokemon are just going to be normally poisoned. Nothing too scary to worry about, but just more of an annoyance. And the wish has come true. DMX is back to full health. Hopefully they don't go for another layer of spikes, because that would be very bad, and we do not need that whatsoever right now. Hopefully we can get this Fortress out of here before they set up another Toxic Spikes, and if they do set up another Toxic Spikes, we could probably just send in Skarmory even to just avoid them, or we could send in Sylveon to go for the Heal Bell and just constantly be healing every opportunity we can get. As we wait here, Arcanine staring at Fortress, Fortress floating and staring at Arcanine, wondering what is going to happen next. Who's going to make the first move? Who's going to attack first? I believe the Arcanine will attack first due to speed, but it's also very curious. I'm also very curious as to what is going through the Shelmets' mind right now. Do they think it's in the bag? Do they think it's going to be a long battle? I personally think it's going to be a very long battle, considering we've had no knockouts yet, and very many switches and very many plays trying to bait switches and things of that nature, as the command time slowly approaches 30 seconds left and the battle time slowly approaches 44 minutes. We will soon be seeing what these two Pokemon are going to be doing next on the battle here. It looks like we're going to be going for Flare Blitz, which hopefully takes it down to Sturdy. If not, hopefully does a very good amount of damage. It does. This Fortress is now at Sturdy. Hopefully we can get some extreme speed damage off next turn. We're going to be taking some major recoil damage here and major life orb damage. They're going to set up the second layer of Toxic Spikes. Now any Pokemon coming in will be badly poisoned and be taking damage from rocks, which is not good. So hopefully we can get the extreme speed off, which will do enough damage. I don't know though. The Fortress is now back up to a little more health than 1 HP from the Sturdy with those leftovers. Arcanine shakes its fur in half a taunt, half intimidation factor maybe. Not quite sure here. Fortress is just kind of staring and blinking. Not really doing much either. They're going to withdraw Nox. We're preserving it maybe for death fodder later. Sending in Sushi to bait the switch possibly. We're going to be using Morning Sun though to get some health back. Interesting little tactic there. Little pull a Morning Sun out of your sleeve, out of your back pocket. Was not expecting that at all actually. Vaporeon is going to possibly be using Scald, so I personally would switch out with DMX here, and maybe even go into the Alomola to take the hit. accept the poison and the rocks damage and take that Scald hit, because the most predictable thing going for the Vaporeon here. I personally don't think I would go for anything else if I were Vaporeon. I would definitely go for the Scald. Arcanine, I would definitely switch out into Alomomola or Skarmory, even maybe even Sylveon to Heal Bell. Whatever's coming in, set up a Wish, Heal Bell. I don't know. It's a very tempting to switch in and out. Like I've said multiple times now, no Pokemon are knocked out. A lot of Pokemon have been taken down to some low health. The closest right now is the Fortress on the New York Shelmets team. Looks like DMX is going to be returning, and we are going to be switching into Rosalina, the Alomomola, like I have predicted. Taking some major rocks damage, becoming badly poisoned, which is not good for us as we approach the, I believe, close to halfway point of this battle here. Almost there. Not very effective. Takes the Scald. Cannot get burned due to the poison, so that is one good thing about this. Maybe we're going to go for Wish. Maybe we're going to go for the Toxic. Not sure here. That poison is going to be taking a bit of a chunk out of our health. Sorry about hitting my mic there. A pretty big chunk out of our health after leftovers, so leftovers will not be helping us very much, if at all, here. Rosalina's going to go for Scald. Just go for the Water Absorb. Nothing happens. Goes for Wish. We're going to be taking some major damage from that Toxic now, and the leftovers won't be able to do too much. So sadly, that was a very bad turn for us. Hopefully we can turn this around, the Seattle Smeargles, that is, and maybe even go for the kill on a Pokemon coming in and keeping Rosalina alive, because Rosalina, I believe, is one of the few Pokemon that can do some okay damage to Talonflame on our team. Jolteon can do some damage. Talonflame is a very big threat, though, and I believe Alomomola will be the one to take the most hits from that thing. It can do some good damage to Mega Aggron, possibly getting the burn. The Fortress it can kill, because that's almost dead. Mamoswine can do some good damage, too. Sends in the Mega Aggron. Very frightened to see what's going on here. Goes for the Scald. Do we get the burn? We do not get the burn, and the Aggron's just going to heal all of its health back up from the Wish. Sadly. We're going to be taking some leftovers heal, but the toxic damage is going to oversample that and just cancel it out and do even more damage. We are now in the yellow range. I would say that did about maybe 15%, which is not very good for us here. Tanklin is going to be just standing there, asserting its dominance. We're going to switch out from Alomomola, go into Armada the Skarmory, making its first appearance in this battle. Looks like they just used the Aggron as bait switch here, going back into Sushi. Sushi's been getting a lot of time and a lot of camera time right now, so Sushi may be the one to worry about here. Skarmory hopefully can take some of these hits. I know Skarmory can, and hopefully we can get some good hazards set up on the other team so we can do some residual damage while we wait. Sending in the Nox to be death fodder, I'm assuming, goes for the Stealth Rocks for the free switch. Thank you for letting us set those up, the New York Shelmets. Going to heal almost all of our HP back, I believe 1 point away. Yes, 1 point away. That Fortress is going to be getting some more health. Nothing too substantial. I don't think we're planning on killing it anytime soon, although it is in kill range from pretty much any Pokemon that can do major damage. It no longer has Sturdy unless it gets all the way back to full health from a Wish or something. We're going to go for Brave Bird. Not opting for the first layer of spikes, but the Brave Bird to possibly knock out the Fortress, which we do! The Seattle Smeargles have the first kill of the game. Thank you. It is now, I believe, a 6-5. 5 being the New York Shelmets, and the 6 being the Seattle Smeargle. Sends in Okie Dokie. Zapdos making its first appearance, taking some major damage from those rocks. Pressure is activated. We'll be using twice the amount of PP per move now, which is not the best thing in the world for us, considering some of these moves have some lower PP. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do here. Maybe just take the hit and go for something. No, we're going to switch out into what? I'm not sure. Into Jolteon, possibly taking a Volt Switch or something. That's going to take some major rocks damage, though. We are now red. And the poison is going to be hitting us too. Goes for the Substitute. This is not the best thing in the world for us. The Substitute is now on the field. That giant green monster thing did take some good health off of the Zapdos, though, which does help us kill it a little faster. Although because Jolteon is not going to be surviving for many more turns. In fact, I don't think Jolteon got to do too much in this battle, which is not the best thing in the world, because Jolteon could be a very big threat to that Talonflame. and as well as the Vaporeon. So hopefully we can come back from this. Hopefully this Jolteon, I'm not expecting it to stay alive for much longer. Hopefully it can do something, maybe get rid of the substitute on the Zapdos, although that is a very intimidating thing to see. Zapdos behind a substitute. One good hit should knock that substitute clean out of the field though, so not too worried about it. We're going to go for the Volt Switch. Is it going to fade? Substitute damage. Substitute has faded. Thank the Lord. We're going to go back and switch into... We'll find out here. I personally would switch into the Sylveon here. I'm not sure if I would have switched into Sylveon, although that might have been the best choice out of all the Pokemon there. So yes, that is a good choice. I'm not complaining. Wanda has been badly poisoned and has taken damage from rocks. The substitute is up. The Zapdos constantly losing health now because of that. As we approach the 37-minute mark of the battle timer. Not the battle time, like the actual like progressing time, but the countdown time on the battle timer there, approaching 37 minutes. Wanda is hurt by the poison. We have 3 Pokemon with status inflictions, all poison, I believe. Luckily, we don't have any kills, or any deaths, I mean. 1 second. Sorry, I had a tickle in my throat there. Looks like Vinny has 20 straight Battle Maison wins, so that's pretty good. A little tidbit of information there. Command time, approaching 80 seconds. Plenty of time to think. Okie dokie, the Zapdos is going to be using Roost, getting some of its health back. Not the best situation for us here. Hopefully we can do something about that. That healed a lot of damage. We're going to go for the Heal Bell to heal all of the status ailments, not most of, all of the status ailments on our team, which is 3, so half our team is now back to full health. Our full team is back to full health, I should say. Jolteon is very close to dying. If Jolteon even switches in, we will have our first death on the team in this battle. This battle is going very evenly so far. We're very slowly ahead. Like I said, though, we have a very close Pokemon very close to dying. Zapdos is going for the Toxic to hit Wanda to get the badly poisoned back. Maybe we're going to go for Heal Bell again. We're going to go for Calm Mind, possibly setting up for a very powerful Moonblast. Knock on wood here. Maybe we're going to go for another Calm Mind next turn and just accept the Toxic damage, or we could go for a Heal Bell even and get rid of the Toxic altogether and not even have to worry about it, although the Zapdos might just keep going for Toxic, so that might not be good. And plus Zapdos has Pressure. We're using 2 times the PP. Also not good. Possibly PP stalling us in the long run. Wanda is hurt by the poison. Zapdos is behind the substitute. This is a very close match. Not quite sure what's going to happen. I personally don't know what I would do to get out of this situation we're currently in. It's a very tense situation. Although we are ahead 6-5, that can very much easily be turned around with that Jolteon just switching in, being an easy 5-5. Okie dokie is going to use Discharge, which might do some good damage. I'm not sure. Sylveon should be able to take that. Didn't take it as well as I would expect it to. It was a crit. We're going to go for the Wish. The crit may have done a little... The crit definitely did a little bit more extra damage than I was expecting, although Sylveon would have been able to take that pretty damn well if I do say so myself. Sadly, that crit did happen, which is not the best thing in the world right now. We're going to be taking some more poison damage as that Zapdos just still sits behind the cute, adorable, deceiving little substitute. We're going to switch out, losing the substitute, mind you, going into Tanklin to take a Fairy-type move, I would assume, or to maybe do an Iron Head next turn. We're going to go for the Heal Bell to heal our poison, although that's not going to help our Pokemon that are going to be switching in the future. We need to figure out a way to get rid of those Toxic Spikes if even possible. I don't think we can. Personally, yeah, we only have any Steel types that are touching the ground. Like if Aggron was on our team, it would just clear the Toxic Spikes by touching the ground because Steel is not affected by poison, so it would just absorb the Toxic Spikes and we wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. But we do not have the Mega Aggron on our team. Mega Aggron is a very big threat on the other team, staring us down in our cute fairy pink little face. I personally would switch out because we do not need to take an Iron Head from a Mega Aggron right now. I'd switch out into Jolteon just to accept it. Maybe even using that as Death Father, because whatever's going to be switching in is going to take some major damage from both Rocks, Toxic, and that Iron Head that is inevitably coming. If not Jolteon, I maybe would switch into Alomomola just to take some hits, because Steel resists, or Water resists Steel. The Poison isn't going to be too bad, and the Rocks aren't going to be too bad. Maybe going for the Scald, predicting something, although the Vaporeon's still on the team, so the Vaporeon could very well predict the Scald and switch in to do the water absorb thing and get some health back from the rocks it would inevitably be taking. A very long command time here, very long turn. The command time is now at 30 seconds. It's been about half the command time. Well, actually more than half. It's been about 2/3 of the command time. Slowly going down. Slowly going down. I really don't know what's going to happen here. It seems we're very deep in thought. Both teams are, anyway. Hopefully we can get out of this pickle, the Seattle Smeargles, that is. This is a very, like I said, very tense situation. Not quite sure what we are going to do here. As Aggron just stares at our Sylveon, we're going to be switching out into Armada, the Skarmory. To be, I would have actually, I just realized Skarmory was part of the team. Ironhead will be taken very well. Very, very well, might I add. Hopefully we can get a free Spikes lair from this switch, or maybe even a Brave Bird to do some damage whenever's coming in, because I don't think this, I personally wouldn't stay in with this Aggron unless it has maybe a rock type move or something. I've seen mixed Aggrons before. That's scary with Flamethrower. That's not the best thing in the world. This Aggron's going to stay in, though. We are going for Spikes. I'm not quite sure what Aggron's going to be doing. Aggron's going to go for Curse, lowering its speed but raising its attack and defense. So this thing is going to become very bulky very quickly. Not very good. Very offensive very quickly. Also not good. But it's going to be very slow, even though it's pretty slow anyway. So now it's just taking more hits more often, doing more damage more often, and not having to worry about anything because it was already slow. We're switching out into Rosalina to take, I'm not quite sure what though, as we're going to be taking some stones damage, badly poisoned from the Toxic Spikes. Tanklin's going to be using Curse again though, so hopefully I believe what's going on here is we're going to go for the Scald, hopefully get the burn to completely cripple the Aggron here. Knock on wood, I would say, in this situation. Lots of animation going on right now. The poison damage does a little bit, not too much. I believe it did about the same leftovers would have healed. So yeah, Rosalina's gonna go for Scald, like I predicted, possibly going for the burn. Hopefully we do get it to cripple this Aggron. Although the thing took it so well, we did not get the burn. Goes for another Curse. This thing is +3 in attack and defense and -3 in speed right now. Very, very scary. Not something I would want to be playing around with, personally. I'll be taking some more toxic damage. The damage rate is upped from the previous turn. As you guys know, badly poisoned means it gets worse over time. Go for the Scald. I believe we're just going to be using Scald constantly here, possibly hoping for that burn, which we do not get again. +4 in 2 stats, -4 in 1. Very, very scary opponent right here. This Aggron is very much set up to sweep unless we can get some good damage off on it, or the burn. I believe we're just going to stay in and just be taking this poison damage until we get this burn, or until this Alomomola dies. Hopefully the former rather than the latter. This Aggron is very much of a threat. Going for the Scald. Do we get the burn? We do not get the burn. Still, Aggron is now +5 in attack and defense and -5 in speed. Not that that really matters. The damn thing was slow anyway. Very, 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 very terrifying Pokemon on the opposite team right now. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do to get out of this, personally, that we've let it set up. Taking even more toxic damage. I believe this Aggron is just going to go for another Curse. Hopefully we get a good Scald off. Maybe we're going to switch. I don't know. We're going to go for the Scald. Please give us the burn. Does get the crit? Does not get the burn. Aggron is now +6. Can no longer be up his stats or lower his stats. Attack, defense, highest it can go. Speed is the lowest it can go. Aggron is at full potential. Very scary. Taking more toxic damage, almost knocking us out. Honestly, I'd stay in, go for the Scald, cut my losses, or lose our first Pokemon here. Goes for the Scald, does not get a burn. The Aggron goes for Rest to heal all of the damage it's just taken back up, basically making us do nothing, and it is now at a free +6 with the only status ailment affecting it is Asleep, which will be asleep for 2 turns. If we're lucky, it's going to stay in, possibly trying to break the sleep just to get Aggron back in as soon as possible. Hopefully we switch an Arcanine to do some good damage with Flare Blitz. That's what I personally would do. BNA, who is the Kyurem is going to be coming in. Kyurem Black is going to be taking some major rocks damage though, and some major toxic damage. Ooh, did another 50 points of damage to us. Not very good. We're already down a half just from rocks. Not even attacked by a Pokemon, by the way. Just from rocks, guys. Look, Kyurem Black is not looking very good right now. We are now tied. Both teams are tied. 1 status ailment, 1 death. 5-5. BNA is going to be using Ice Beam. Possibly not going for the freeze, but just doing some damage. It's not very effective. Maybe it's going to... Maybe, hopefully... When this Aggron wakes up and we go for Ice Beam, we get the freeze. It's going to go for Sleep Talk, goes for Rest, but it fails. Thank God it didn't go for Iron Head, otherwise BNA would be very much in the ground right now. Not living. It would be obliterated, actually. Ice would be shattered everywhere. Kyurem would not be very happy with itself, neither would the Zekrom that is fused with the Kyurem. Zekrom being my favorite Pokemon, clearly, as my name is being... As I am named after said Pokemon. We're going to be switching out of BNA, though, into... I'm not quite sure what... Into Wanda, of all things. Hopefully this doesn't get a Sleep Talk Iron Head, because if it does, +6 is very scary. +6 super effective to a Sylveon is not the best thing in the world that we want to be seeing. It goes for Sleep Talk. Please don't get the Iron Head. Goes for the Iron Head. Does some major damage. Utterly destroying Wanda. Very sad. Timmy Turner no longer has 3 fairies, now has 2, Cosmo, and poof. Uh-oh. Very scary. Going to be sending in DMX. We are now 4. It's now 5-4 with 1 status ailment being this Aggron here for the New York Shelmets. We're going to be getting badly poisoned. Took some bad rock damage. I believe about 50% or 50 HP as well. Maybe a little less or a little more. Hopefully we get a good Flare Blitz off. We go for the Flare Blitz. Super effective, mind you. I want to mention that again. Super effective, although +6. It does absolutely nothing. That did probably 3% damage. That was nothing. Wakes up, goes for the Iron Head. +6 Iron Head. We do not take it all. I'm not sure how we're going to get out of this if we do it all. That was basically our ticket there. Alomomola is gone. Kyurem Black is gone. Arcanine is gone. We have Armada, the Skarmory here. Jolteon will be gone the second it switches in. We have Skarmory, and Sylveon is, like I said, gone. We are down to 3 Pokemon, which are Jolteon, Skarmory, and I believe Sylveon here. No, Sylveon's dead. And Alomomola. Is Alomomola alive? I believe Alomomola is actually still alive. I lied. Alomomola is still alive. We go for the Brave Bird, just getting chip damage off. Taking some recoil. Luckily, it was just this rocks that did damage to us. We aren't poisoned. That Iron Head's going to hurt like a crap load, though. We did take it, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. We did take it. The Skarmory can take the Iron Head from this Aggron, which is very good to know, actually. Excuse me, I had a bit of a tickle in my throat again. We're going to go for the Roost. Just keep maybe stalling this Aggron out, hopefully. How many... Let's see how much PP Iron Head has, because I'm not quite sure off the top of my head. I would like to know, though, for future reference. Sorry if you hear me typing. I would like to know Iron Head, though. Looks like we go for that Aggron went for another Iron Head. It has 15 power points, so hopefully we get a good stall going here. Goes for the Curse. What? I thought we were at +6 already. It looks like its attack just rose. Oh, I believe we lowered its defense somehow, possibly. So its attack, Oh wait, lowered its attack because of the Intimidate from the Arcanine. That's right. So it's at +5. Now it's at +6. We're gonna go for the Spikes. So that's the most we can do here. Goes for the Iron Head. Going to be doing some insane damage. That is honestly just very scary. I really don't know what we're going to do to get out of this if we can. I think we're just going to set up some spikes, go for the chip damage if possible, maybe get some good hits off. Not quite sure. Goes for the Roost, getting all of our health back, stalling this Aggron out as much as possible. Goes for the Iron Head. And we take yet another one. That did a little bit less damage. It was at 82 last time, now we're at 85, so we should be healing past the 90s. Yes, we are at 95 now. Did 10 health points back to us, back in our pocket. The Aggron is just standing there like a tank. AKA why his name is Tanklin. Not a Pokemon I would like to be seeing in a dark alley late at night, especially with that +6 defense, +6 attack, and -6 defense and -6 speed. Very, very, very terrifying Pokemon currently. As we wait eagerly for these Pokemon to make their next move, possibly their final moves in this turn. We go for the Roost, getting our health back. I believe Aggron's just going to go for another Iron Head. He's constantly doing damage. Hopefully this stall war will end with us winning against this Aggron, because if this Aggron's dead, we do have a good chance of coming back. Does more damage, 80, so it looks like that one got max damage, and the other one got min. We are healed back to 90, so it looks like Leftovers is only healing 10 HP per turn, I believe. Just going to go for the Roost again. Aggron's just going to go for the Iron Head. Yep, back and forth battle here. Going for the Roost, getting our health all the way back up. Aggron should be going for the Iron Head, which it does. Iron Head does even more damage, surprisingly, getting even more, that might have been max damage, I'm not sure here. Getting all the way back up to 89, slowly but surely losing our health. Hopefully we can, like I said, get rid of this Aggron somehow by either stalling it out or just enough chip damage or forcing a switch just because of boredom even, I'm not sure. Get back to our full health, goes for the Iron Head. Back to 79, looks like that is max damage. It looks like it's just going to be these two for a while now. The battle timer is slowly approaching 22 minutes. This match looks like it might be coming to an end very soon here if we're not careful. We're going to be switching out to mix things up a little bit, looks like, into Jolteon, who's just going to die from these Stealth Rocks. Does the shiny animation dead from the Stealth Rocks? We are now, I believe, 5-2 for the Shelmets here. Tankling used Iron Head, but it failed. So that is a wasted turn and a wasted PP for the Aggron there. B&A, the Zekrom is going to be switching in. I thought B&A died. Looks like I was mistaken. B&A is going to be taking some major damage, though. Not good. Bursting, a Radiating Aura. Radiating a Bursting Aura, I believe it was said. 38 out of 200 HP, and not even from a single Pokemon attack. Going for the Fusion Bolt. Hopefully getting some good damage off here. Kaboom does nothing. That did absolutely nothing. Zekrom, Black Kyurem, I mean, is dead. Does hurt my soul quite a bit to see, a little bit, to see a fellow Pokemon, a brethren, pass away like that. We'll be seeing it next battle, hopefully. Sending in Armada, taking some stone damage. Last Pokemon here. I personally think it's just going to end. I think this is going to be it. This Aggron is going to be switching out, of all things, sending in the Zapdos. I don't know why it would switch out. It just lost all of that stat change. That was a very bold move, if I do say so myself. Goes for the Brave Bird. Does a good amount of damage. Does more than it would. Not very effective, but does more than it would against that Aggron. Goes for the Leftover Heal. Not really a choice, obviously. We also go for Leftover Heal. I'm not sure what's going to go on here. I think the Zapdos is going to finish us off. Maybe. We're at 69 health. Geety, 69 health out of 172. This is going to be going for Discharge. Is this it for the Seattle Smeargles in Season 3, Week 3? It is. Season 3, Week 3 ends with a loss for the Seattle Smeargles and a win on the New York Shelmets. The rankings are now 1-2 New York Shelmets and 1-2 Seattle Smeargles. So we are exactly the same now. That was a very long battle, about 43 minutes, 42, 43 minutes, give or take. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Dark Zekrom. Hopefully you enjoyed my very long commentary, and we'll be seeing you next week with Week 4. I've been Dark Zekrom 998. These have been your Seattle Smeargles. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out. You guys so much for watching. Peace out. You guys so much for watching.